Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? Now this specific video is a very heavy video for me to do, so I'm just gonna take my time and get this message out to you all. Now longtime AIDS activist and crusader Hadia Broadbent has passed away at 39 years old. Now at birth, Broadbent was abandoned at the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada in Las Vegas, where Patricia and Leon Broadbent adopted her as an infant. Being born HIV positive, doctors believe that she would not live past the age of 5. She definitely defeated all the odds against her. And she was here educating millions of people about her story and, how life goes on, and now her legacy lives on. In 1996, on the Oprah Winfrey Show, at that time she was just so young and so beautiful. She captivated the world when she shared her experience in living with AIDS in front of millions of viewers. And she did it with confidence. She wasn't even, shy. It just broke my heart watching that, and it moved me. Sincerely, it did.
When I was born, I was HIV positive. And when I turned 5, I had symptoms of AIDS. Mm-hmm. I had fungus in my brain, blood infections, pneumonia. I went cold blue a couple of times. And that's when I was about 5, they said I was full-blown AIDS. And right now I'm doing really good. Basically, that's like when your friends die.
Mm-hmm. Like?
The hardest part is you love them, and you always lose a friend to AIDS. It's hard, but especially, I don't think it's real harder on the parents than on me. And they're friends and stuff, and you love them a lot, and you get real close. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my friends that have died of AIDS, no one really knows how long anybody's gonna live, because I don't tell myself like, oh, you have AIDS, or I could go outside and get hit by a bus tomorrow, and you never know. If you stay in your bed and feel sorry for yourself and don't get up with the birds and just sit there and say, well, I'm gonna die, why get up and try and make a difference? Mm-hmm. But when you say, well, today's another day, I can get up, I can do something, make something positive.
Now, Broadbent was born in 1984 with HIV and was born addicted to crack and heroin. She was adopted at 6 weeks old, and her adoptive parents, London and Patricia Broadbent, found out she had HIV 3 years after her adoption. Before her death, Broadbent traveled all over the globe making on-air appearances and connecting with people of all different cultures to share her story of coverage. This is hard for me to do. It really is, because I was crying. I was so heartbroken when I heard this. And she definitely shared tips on how to avoid at-risk behaviors through information, decision making. Like, she definitely let people know, if you're going through this, that you're not alone. And teaching different people how to be preventative. It was a lot. And it was just definitely hard to hear that, she had to go through this, and this wasn't something that she chose for herself, or, made any type of mistake or anything like that. It wasn't like that. She definitely got this at birth, and it's I don't even know how to even further explain. It's just so heartbreaking to even listen to me to even tell you guys this story right now. It's so heartbreaking.
People still recognize me as a little girl from TV with AIDS. It happens at the weirdest times. I could be in the airport and someone will say, "Are you that little girl?" And they'll whisper, "With AIDS?" And I just laugh and I say yes. Since I was on Oprah's show, I have been traveling around the world, spreading awareness about HIV/AIDS, prevention, advocating for treatment and care, and really just spreading the message to people about prevention. I was at the height of my career, and I'm 15, and those are my teen years. Those are the years where you're supposed to mess up, and you're supposed to find yourself, and it was so much pressure to be perfect. And there was a point where I really resented speaking. I resented being public. It became too much, and I dealt with low self-esteem, and I dealt with depression, and I really had to find my inner peace. We don't do the why me, why do I have AIDS, why did this happen to me?
As one of the first African American youth to openly discuss HIV and AIDS, Broadbent has been recognized as top influencer by Ebony, by theroots.com, Essence, the list goes on. Good Morning America and many other media outlets, I don't remember her crying, says Broadbent. And this is what she said. She said, I remember being on stage and spending time with Oprah after the show. She introduced me to her dogs and she gave me an American Girl Abby doll. And she says, last year when I was featured on Oprah, Where Are They Now? The response was overwhelming. I found out that I was one of the most requested updates by viewers. So many people feel like they have watched me grow up and are just excited to know I'm doing well and still speaking out. When I was really young, I didn't understand the, magnitude of what I was doing, admits Broadbent in a Red Pump from Project. She was speaking, right? She said, but I knew I wanted to make sure I was accepted. And also for many of my friends, she wanted to create a voice for, young people that have this.
Dating with AIDS. Well, there's a guy who I thought I was madly in love with, and he couldn't deal with my status. And I became a secret, like, oh, we can hang out, but at my house. Or we can go to the movies, but across town. And so that really played with my psyche. It took me a long time to identify that the problem wasn't me, it was him. I was supposed to live past the age of 5. I will be 30 in June.
Talking to youth, men and women everywhere is what I believe in. You have to be an example to the audience you are trying to connect with. Sharing your story with others about how you promote abstinence and enable safe sex practices is what will drive continued prevention and awareness of HIV and AIDS. People think because I was born with HIV, my story does not apply to them. Well, this same disease I am living with is the same disease you can get if you don't practice safe sex and know your HIV status and the HIV status of your sexual partner. I ask people to use my testimony as a warning of what you don't want to go through. Hydeia not only affected the everyday people, but her story also touched many celebrities, including Magic Johnson. She was only tiny 7-year-old grade schooler when she met one of the world's greatest basketball players. When they first met, she cried. Magic Johnson reached his giant right hand out and placed it on her shoulder. Neither knew what their future held, but they had one thing in common, bigger than both of them.
You don't have to cry. Because we are normal people, okay? We are. You just want to be treated like that, right? You just want your friends to play with you and call you up and come by and still have sleepovers and things like that, right? Yes. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry.
They both were HIV positive. I want people to know, Hydeia said, sniffling, that we're just normal people. You don't have to cry, Johnson replied. He said, because we are normal people, okay? We are. The scene was captured as part of a Nickelodeon AIDS special 20 years ago to inform America's youth that the disease could affect anyone. On a 2022 night in Los Angeles, Johnson again hugged Hydeia Both were on hand for screening in Los Angeles of the announcement. An ESPN documentary about his coming forward with HIV. Hadia's tearful plea as a child is replayed in the documentary. Throughout her lifetime, Hydeia appeared on the cover of countless magazines, received honors in the next decade from litany of AIDS and African American organizations for her awareness and activism, became pals with Janet Jackson, and was offered modeling contracts and speaking gigs across the country and overseas too. Conrad Bullard, who ran a foundation named for the child, crowd to POZ magazine in 1997, that she was they said that she was the most popular little AIDS activist in the country. She will be missed. Rest in peace, Hydeia.
I just think about how hard it was for people, especially young people living with HIV/AIDS, the discrimination, the fear of not knowing if you were going to live or die. So it just takes me back in time. If we can possibly find a cure, I think that's the best thing possible for our future generation. In some aspects, I'm treated normal by my friends and my family, but there are people who they still don't get it. Stigma is still very much alive. There are people who will ask my friend, why did she make me my goddaughter, why did she make me the godmother of her child? Isn't she afraid that her daughter will catch AIDS from me? Ugh. So you still have things like that you deal with, but I think it's better. Things have gotten better, but it's not as great as it should be. HIV/AIDS has not gone away. There is no official cure for people like myself who are living with HIV or AIDS. So you have to protect yourself, stay negative, and know your status. If you are HIV positive or have full-blown AIDS, if you are on treatment, you have less than a 3% chance of actually passing the virus on. Now, if I wanted to have a child, me knowing my status, I could get pregnant and have a child without passing the virus on to my child, but that's because I'm in treatment. So we encourage people to get tested, know their status, stay in treatment, adhere to what your doctor is telling you to do, and basically just be safe and know your status. I mean, it's not the death sentence that it once was. I'll be 29 in June, and they didn't think I would live past the age of 5.
Journey Smollett, who is Jussie Smollett's oldest sister, had this to say. She said, "What are you supposed to say when you lose a best friend you've had since you were 13? How to make sense of it? I feel so angry. This is not the kind of post I ever want to make. But in my anger and grief, I want to remember to be grateful for the time we had with Hydeia on this earth. After all, the doctor said she wouldn't live past age 5, and she made it to 39. The world knew her as this force, this trailblazer, an HIV/AIDS activist. Her family knew her as a loving sister and daughter. I knew her as my friend. My family knew her as another sister. Witnessing her continuously triumphant over tragedy and use her time here as a beacon of hope was like witnessing the divine in motion. My warrior woman, who literally fought her entire life to save the lives of others. Hydeia raised the consciousness and fought to destigmatize issues around HIV/AIDS. Hydeia made us all better. She literally blazed trails where there was none. She and I grew into women together, and Hydeia was a huge inspiration for me to use my life for a bigger purpose. Whether it was showing up at random testing sites to encourage people to get tested and stay safe, or speaking at community gatherings, working with nonprofits like the Black/AIDS Institute, I would never have been involved in the HIV/AIDS fight if it hadn't been for witnessing the work Hydeia was doing. That work can be so tiring so taxing on the body and mind. I don't know why some are born with a force they didn't ask for. But Hadia calling on her life was mighty. I thank God for her light, her will. I will miss her laughter, her dancing, her joyous smile that lit up her beautiful big cheeks, her awful taste in TV shows, her hilarious way of making fun of how I'm really a boring nerd inside, her drives, listening to music really loud, the tears she shed over heartbreaks, the way she wore her heart on her sleeves and was unable to get through a motivational talk without tearing up at some point. Courage was her middle name, a literal goddess with an outwardly strength, a warrior's heart who fought till the end. Rest well, beautiful one. Love you forever. Wow, this entire situation breaks my heart, but God's gained another angel. Like, it didn't happen today. I wanted to say God has gained another angel today. I'm making the video today, but the moment she passed on, God's gained another angel, because she truly was blessed. You know, she truly was a miracle. She truly, everything, all of the positive things she was. You know, this woman just, oh my gosh, she lived her life. I remember watching that Oprah, interview, and like them talking to her, and she's saying like, get up with the birds. And every time I get up or I'm having a really hard day or feeling depressed, I think about that. Like, I have to not say like, oh, today's gonna be a bad day, or say, you know what I'm saying, just get up with the birds. And she's taught me to just be careful, you know, with whom I sleep with and different things of that nature, like wearing condoms, or, you know what I'm saying, if I can, for the most part, just be as safe as I possibly can. If I'm going to engage in sexual activity and not be married, or, you know, just make sure that I'm doing it with a condom, you know, that I'm having these conversations about AIDS and HIV and having these conversations before sex, you know, having these conversations with people. This broke my heart because I really thought that she was going to live forever, but she did, you know, live past 5. She lived, you know, at 39 is when she passed on. So, you know, God put her here for a reason. You know, she was on a mission, and I think that, you know, she truly has set her mark. And I thank the Lord that we were even able to hear of her, know of her, and that she's able to like not lay down and I'm just gonna die. But no, she stood up, went up every day, and made a difference in everybody's life. And, you know, God bless this young lady and may her soul rest in peace. And I know that, you know, God's gained another angel, and I just thank the Lord for her existence. But that's all I wanted to say. If you guys have anything positive that you want to add on to anything that I said in the comments, please do so. I don't know, this broke my heart. If y'all, like, I'm not the best reader, so please bear with me, but I did my best to kind of, you know, break some things down and, you know, explain some things for you all. But I really love this person, you know, and I didn't even know her personally, but her journey, you know, and how she was this amazing activist for HIV and AIDS, and how she, you know, set her mark out and just did what she, you know, wanted to do. You know, she made a difference, and I loved her for it. I loved hearing her story, everything, you know. So please, y'all, let me know what y'all think about this. Let me, like, say something positive about her, please, because I just want to keep it going, you know, keep her legacy on, you know, help, you know, just educate people about, you know, protection and HIV and AIDS and everything. You know, she definitely was that hope, you know, that amazing person, that amazing, you know, like, she just set her mark, you know, and I loved her for it. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and bye. Have a lovely rest of y'all's day.
In 5 years, I plan to have my own community center, my own nonprofit organization, maybe married, no kids yet, because I got so much to accomplish. I don't have time for kids.